It's a bit of a hill, and I ain't used to hills. You know, my power to weight ratio ain't too great for a tub of lard. Hi, this is Matt from Mid-Bike Crisis. So, a little bit about me. I'm a typical middle-aged 44-year-old guy, married with 3 young kids who wear me out. I'm originally from England, but now reside just west of St. Louis, where we've lived for 8 years. I spent far too long eating the standard American diet and drinking too many adult beverages. So 4 years ago, I underwent weight loss surgery and dropped 100 pounds. Yay me, right? Then, maybe last year or so, I started to see the weight climb on again after years of waddlesome sloth and being too tired to do much once the kids have gone to bed. So I've decided now to really put my bikes to good use. I've been a wannabe cyclist for years, maybe occasionally getting my trusty steeds out of the garage if and when the mood took me and when I had time. However, I'd always return to my old ways of sitting on the sofa or being lazy. I think I like the idea of being a cyclist more than the actual being a cyclist. You know, so with that, I've decided to video my rides, hopefully get me out more, and really showcase some of the really great routes we've got here, and fully acquaint myself and explore this really great region, my new adopted hometown. So today's ride starts on the Katy Trail at the bottom of Pitman Hill Road and Greensbottom Road. A lot of the rides I do start from there. It's really close to my house and it's really handy. And from the Katy Trail, we're going to head westbound out towards Weldon Spring and Defiance. We'll go underneath Interstate 64 and then peel off the KT onto the Busch Greenway. This will link us onto the Hamburg Trail and into the Busch Conservation area. We'll stop there, have a bite to eat, maybe look at a few of the lakes, and then we'll head back onto the Hamburg Trail, but going the opposite direction. We're going to go past the nuclear site and then loop the nuclear site, right? It sounds ominous. And then loop back towards the Katy Trail, and then it's just a 6-mile eastbound ride back to Pitman Hill Road. All in all, it was just shy of around 27 miles. This was my first attempt of cycling and videoing at the same time. And, you know, this video is a bit ropey. One of my cameras malfunctioned. And so it's definitely all a work in process, though. But practice makes perfect. And this is going to give me a reason to get out there more often. But I hope you enjoy this ride. So we're about, I don't know, about a mile, maybe a mile and a half, 2 miles into the journey right now. You can see the Katy Trail. It is what it is. You know, the crushed limestone surface. It's kind of a little gloopy because we're in the middle of the winter and we've got a little bit of snow and a little bit of melt and some rain. It's a little gluey and it's like riding a bit through molasses. But behind me though is the Missouri River. And this little creek that goes into it, I don't know if you can see it behind me. Just a little creek. Growing up where I did, we didn't have rivers like this. I thought the Mersey and the Trent were big rivers. This is a little different scale. Before I moved here, I didn't know anything about Lewis and Clark or the Westward Expedition or the Great Westward Expansion. It was all new to me when I first moved here, but it's right along this corridor here. There's a lot of history. Just crazy to think what happened when Jefferson was alive and he sent those guys upriver. The Katy Trail is a limestone pug. It's like a crushed, gravelly limestone that runs for 24 miles from Matkins to Clinton, Missouri. The eastern part of the trail follows the northern bank of the Missouri River when it reaches Boonville and then crosses the river south to Sedalia and finally to Clinton, Missouri. I've done most of the eastern quarter from Matkins to Augusta, and hopefully one day I'll find enough time to maybe do the whole thing. The elevation change is negligible alongside the river, and the trail, which is the longest rail trail in the country, has its lowest point near the eastern terminus in St. Charles County, and the highest point is in Windsor, where the Rock Island Trail joins, and you can basically ride all the way to the Kansas City suburbs. At every trailhead there are bathrooms, a shelter, and a conveniently thoughtful bicycle pump, which has saved me quite a few times. During the winter months, though, the bathrooms are closed. Camping is not allowed along the trail, which somewhat hampers bikepacking, but there are plenty of quaint B&Bs along the way, as well as private camping options. Alright, so about 3.5 miles in, we've reached our first intersection. This is one of the Great River Greenways that crisscross St. Louis County, St. Charles County. And we're going to be heading up. I don't know if you see it. We're going to be heading up there anyway. I'll get closer to the path in a minute. Really nice little spot. I don't know what this creek is. Maybe I should have looked and find out what it was before I started this video. This cute little creek. Maybe it's Darden Creek. I don't know. It meanders towards the Missouri River over there. And yeah, so we're off the limestone for a bit onto one of the greenways, so maybe a little bit of asphalt for a bit. As I turned right onto the Busch Greenway, I kind of scolded myself that I'd not done this trail before. It was glorious. Short, but glorious. Duckett Creek ran in the Cascades over the Missouri Valley floor, pooling into a small wetlands area. I imagine this area to be gorgeous in the spring after a rain, where everything is in bloom and the wildlife is active with the flora and fauna. I was captivated immediately. The gradient up to the trailhead onto the research road was kind of shallow, and the curves and the grade made for a welcome change away from the flat surface and the monotony of the Katy Trail. The Great Rivers Greenway is currently stand at 128 miles and counting so far, with another almost 200 miles in the planning. The Busch Greenway shown here in the northwest corner will incorporate part of a 600-mile river ring eventually around St. Louis and St. Charles County in Missouri, with connections into Illinois and the wonderful Madison County Trail system. So I don't know, we're about 55 minutes into this ride, and I've done 6.3 miles, which is really slow and really not fast, let's put it that way. And I think that was one of my problems in respect to riding a bike before, and maybe one of the reasons why I decided to start videoing it, because videoing it and documenting it will cause me to slow down. Instead of blasting off and, you know, spunking all my energy on the first 5 miles and then being dead for the rest of the journey, it'll cause me to slow down. It'll cause me to stop at Prairie Lake right here and find out a bit about it. Need to make the journey and the trip enjoyable. I don't want it to be a sufferfest. I can't suffer. I'm 44 years of age. I'm 45 next week. Excuse me. I can't do suffering. And you know, the hill. There was a hill up there that took me from the Missouri River all the way up here to just north of the Missouri Research Park. It's a bit of a hill, and I ain't used to hills. You know, my power to weight ratio ain't too great for a tub of lard. You know, but I need to do it because, as I said to you before, it's too easy to sit at home. It's too easy to sit on the couch. I've got 2 young kids at home, and they're 2 years of age. They're twin boys, and they're a lot. They're a lot for a middle-aged guy to handle, and it's all too easy when they're at daycare for 1 day a week to just sit at home and enjoy the quiet, but I get nothing accomplished. So it's get out and ride a bike time. Oh, I think this is Earl. Earl decided to pay me a visit.
Okay, let's go for a run.
He's got way more energy than I do. Alright, so we've just finished the Busch Greenway. That was a really pretty path, to be honest, the first time I've done it. The weather's really nice, it's warmed up well, my hands aren't cold. I feel like I can use my smartphone while I'm riding now without dropping it with my gloves on. We turned right at the end of the Busch Greenway onto the Hamburg Trail, and we're going to follow that north to the Busch Conservation area and go and check out some of the lakes and stuff there. Alright, so just started the video and the tripod was about to topple over. The wind's picked up a little bit, but it's still nice. I have made it to one of the lakes. This is the lake number 6 at the Augustus Busch Wildlife Reserve. It's one of the first I came to. It's kind of nice. There's a picnic table here. I'm going to have me an obligatory Cliff Bar. Let my GoPro charge a little bit. The road from the Hamburg Trail, as soon as it crossed the road, I think it's Highway D maybe. It came a 2-track. It was kind of bumpy. It was only that way, I don't know, maybe half a mile or so, not far, and then it turned into this sludgy, compacted gravel. It was a little swampy, a little congealed, but it was alright. It was smooth, so it wasn't too bad. Made a bit of a mess of my bike. You know, it's not the clean bike that it left this morning. The chain's all gooped up. But other than that, so far so good. And there's worse places to eat lunch on a Wednesday afternoon. Alright, so back on the lovely asphalt, away from the conservation area, away from the Hamburg, well, this is still the Hamburg Trail, but it's part of the Busch Greenway now. So back on the asphalt, gonna head over to the Weldon Spring interpretive site. It was a lot more muddier at the conservation area than I thought it was going to be, which is silly because it's January. But you take into account there was a bit more of a elevation change, you know, lots of ups and downs. It was like trying to ride your bike through treacle up some of those hills. I need to be fitter. That's basically what it is. Anyway, oh, here we go. The asphalt's finished. No sooner said than done. The asphalt's finished and we're back on the gravel. No biggie. It's not as soupy as the conservation area, but I really want to get to the sarcophagus today. And time's pressing on because I've got to pick my kid up from school at 3:30, 4 o'clock. Well, this didn't take long at all, because it's right there in front of me. This sarcophagus is an old uranium disposal site from the Second World War. At one point it was the biggest, or the highest point of St. Charles County. I'm guessing the Ameristar Casino overtook it. But here it is. I didn't realise it was so close. Let's go climb the thing. Alright, well, excuse the wind. Not that high up, but there we are. If you ever want to know what Midwest farmland looks like from 250 feet, this is your place, I suppose. I mean, behind me over here is, I guess, maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. I can't see because the sun's right in my eyes. But back behind me is the way to St. Charles. Going back this way behind me, and over here is westbound towards Defiance, Augusta, and all that good stuff. All the wineries at Montel and, you know, Yellow House. Do that on a warmer day, eh? Still, it's kicked up here. I wanted to go in the interpretive site down there because I was hoping they got like bathrooms and a vending machine, but obviously because of the COVIDs, all closed and locked up. Such is life. Alright. Well, that was our Chernobyl. Now I'm heading down back to the bike, and I'm going to make my way back down the Greenway to the Katy Trail, back to the car. Alright, so just finished the Hamburg Trail, and we've linked on the junction is right up there. You can see where the junction is, where the Hamburg Trail meets up with the Katy Trail again. So I'm back on the Katy Trail. I'm probably about 3 miles further west than where I left it. I've got to go through the Weldon Spring Conservation area. So I don't know, about 5-6 miles from the car. Sat right by these bluffs here. But yeah, the Hamburg Trail, fantastic. It was like a 2-track, but it was hard. It was compact for the most part. There was a little bit of mud, and well, there was a little bit of mud and nearly hit the guardrail at one point. But other than that, that was my fault because I was going too fast and I didn't keep my wheels straight and it got stuck and I veered off course. But other than that, really good trail, all downhill pretty much from to here. And I'm back where I was pretty much when we first started this morning. So only the long, straight, flat Katy Trail back. Very successful little day, honestly, guys. And where am I at right now? 19.49 miles. A couple of backtracks here and there to film, so maybe 20 miles for the day. So I say 20 miles for the day. And we all do it. We all measure the mileage. We want to see how fast we've gone. We all want to do a personal best and all that good stuff. I try not to let it worry me. I try not to let that, the stats and the data and the analytics get in the way of the ride. I'm not David Brailsford. I'm not Bradley Wiggins. I don't care. No one cares if I got 3 seconds faster on a certain section. No one cares. Don't worry about it. Don't let that define you. Just ride the bike. And I need to learn that. I need to learn that. I need to stop worrying about the Garmin. I need to stop worrying about the Strava. And just ride the bike. Enjoy the bike. Remember why you used to ride a bike as a kid. It's so it could get absolutely filthy. Like this. It's going to need a bath. But it was fun. It was fun. It was first, I mean, I've lived here 8 years. I've never done the Hamburg Trail before. It's a scandal. Lived here 8 years. I've never... First time riding around the conservation area, the Busch Conservation area. It's a scandal. And that's what I'm hoping that this channel and me filming these things does, is that it gets me out there. It gets me out there to experience new places, new trails. The Hamburg Trail just up the street, where we just came, it was full of old abandoned towns from the war, from, you know, the munitions plants and all that. You know, they're all fenced off now. It's not quite Times Beach. Go Wikipedia that. It's not quite Times Beach, but I mean, they're still there. They're still abandoned. And the Hamburg Trail crossed a couple of old roads that, you know, lead to nowhere. It's kind of cool. Enjoyable day. Still a bit to go. Had to change from the GoPro to the action cam because I was running out of battery on the GoPro, and I'm not quite sure. I've only just got the action cam. I'm not really read up on it. I hope when I press the button it recorded the Hamburg Trail, because otherwise I might have to go back and do it again. But not today. So that's pretty much it for today's journey. Not much shots there of the journey on the way back because, as I said, my camera malfunctioned. And as you can see by this footage, it's not that great anyway. It's a cheap action cam that I need to replace. The jostling and the bouncing around makes it almost unusable. Another thing I learned from today is that my mic pannier system gets gunked up with dirt when the roads are wet and have standing water splashing up into the locking mechanism. I'll definitely need to bear that in mind for future trips. All in all, though, a successful ride for a 46-degree day in January, when for the most part I probably would have just sat around the house looking for an excuse not to get out there and ride.